I ain't hungry. First, I always say hungry dogs run fast. I ain't hungry. I'm starving.
Hurts takes the snap. He's back. He's going to run. He's in. Touchdown. Jalen Hurts.
When that cage opens up again, our teeth are snarling. We're drooling. We're ready. We're hungry, ready to hunt again.
Dallas. We hate you. Race is snow. The Eagles train to go. The Eagles win.
And again, and again, and again.
It ain't about them. It's about us. We play up to our potential. Each and every one of us together. Nobody can beat us. I promise you. Promise you.
What is up, my brews, my bird brews? Welcome back to another episode of Speaking Birds. It's your boy Beaks. We got the crew in here. I'm feeling froggy. It's a Friday recording sesh, and we got the boy John. We got the boy Clayton. What's up, fellas?
How we doing? How we living?
Man,
What's up, guys? Good to be here.
yeah, we're living good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty optimistic. We got the 3-2 Eagles headed up the what do they call that? The turnpike? Is that a turnpike that connects them?
That's right.
Yeah.
Turnpike extension.
Heading up there to the
Jersey
2-4 Giants, the little Giants, and I feel pretty optimistic. What are you guys thinking?
You know what? I'm always I feel like I've been negative for the last couple pods, but
Okay.
here we are. You know, let's just get a little bit better each game, right?
I think so. How'd you guys digest the game last week? I know, like, we do the post game, but then stuff comes out. You see stuff throughout the week. Anything notable that you guys picked up on or wanted to touch on?
Nothing after watching the game. I think we'll get into a little bit there, but I don't know what Clayton has there.
Yeah, a few things here to touch on. After going back and watching it, I feel better about it. I mean, obviously, I would have preferred it to look a little bit better coming out of a bye against, a weak Browns team, but whatever. I'm not going to go into that. It was better than it looked. And, yeah, I think the slow start, Jalen going 0 for 5 there, really just set the tone for the game, like my mood anyhow. Look, watching it, it's like,
Right.
here we go again, man. And then we didn't score in the first quarter. And it's like, okay. But no, going back and watching it, with a clear head, wasn't as bad. Definitely some weird tendencies that happen in this game. I get it. I've seen a lot of these memes and hot takes floating around about what this offense was, and that Hurts can only go outside the numbers, and we'll dive into that as to why I think it looked the way it did. But yeah, it
Right.
wasn't as bad as I thought. I did see people crucifying us for not running the ball and or for not having a good running day, and I think that was when I watched it live, I thought they had game plan to shut the run down, and they 100% did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Schwartz decided that Saquon was not beating him. And also on
agree
top
there.
of that, I didn't know the Browns have had assistant coordinators and coaches with us. I didn't even think about that. That worked, hand in hand with Stoutland. So they knew our blocking concepts and schemes coming in. So, they were ready for it. I mean, Deuce Staley and Roy Esteban, or whatever the hell his last name is. He's an
Yeah.
assistant O-line coach with Stout, and Deuce was obviously the run game coordinator, so he worked hand in hand. So I think some of that came into play. So just everybody, wants to kill Saquon this week, and there's a couple reasons to. Don't get me wrong, but don't kill him for not having a super productive day, because that was the entire design of Schwartz's defense coming in, and they executed, their game plan. They still lost, but they executed their game plan.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, Clayton, because I don't know if we talked about this, but so for our listeners out there, I think McGeehan's kind of filled me in, McGeehan being John. Like you played high school football, right? Like you've been
Yeah.
out in the field, right?
Yep.
And what position did you play again? Was it
Defensive tackle and defensive end and defensive tackle, or defensive end, defensive tackle, and then offensive tackle. Sorry.
okay? Yes. Yeah, so the point I wanted to ask, and it's something that you touched on, like when you're out there, like kind of in battle, you're in the game. When you notice that, like someone, like say, like an assistant coach, like say, like they know what you're doing, like how hard does that make it? Like if you realize, like they're on to you, like you said, there's assistant coaches that kind of knew what we were doing, and does that make it harder? It has to.
Oh, 100%. And the worst part was like, and I guess it's most high schools, unless you're playing like elite programs. You can almost see the game plan as the first quarters unfolding. And there's been times that we were in games and it was just like, holy shit, these guys know what we're doing before we do it. Like that feeling of like
Yeah.
they know what's coming. They're calling my
Yeah,
play
right,
out
right.
before
Oh,
the
dude.
snap. They're telling us what we're doing.
Yeah.
And our
For
coaches wouldn't adjust to it. They would just be like, well, you have to execute better than them then. And it's like, okay. So yeah, I mean that gets frustrating. And I had a couple good years and we had a couple down years, so I got to
Yeah.
experience both ends of that. But yeah, when you're out there and that they know that you can't do what you want to
Yeah.
do.
Right.
Yeah, it gets frustrating. And really, I mean, that's where like dumb penalties start happening. It starts getting chippy because you're getting an attitude. You can't
Right.
impose your
Yeah.
will like you want to. So yeah, it definitely messes with you.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, like, so going back and like, thinking about that, I mean, yeah, coming off the win, I mean, I know it was, not the win we wanted, but yeah, I felt kind of positive. And you're saying that going back, you kind of feel a little more positive about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Same.
Wasn't nearly as bad. Like I said, Jalen started off bad. He started out 0-5 and then, went 16-20 the rest of the way. So he was picking them apart back there. I seen a lot of checks that he was checking into that I know we'll get into. That 3rd and 1 that he checked into that Barkley missed the block on. That was actually a good check, even though it was a go route.
I
Smitty was
believe-
wide open.
I believe that was a Sirianni play.
That's what
one
Sirianni
of-
wanted. Yeah. So and that's something we can
We'll get into
into
that too. We can get
Yeah.
into that too. Yeah. Let's get
Yeah.
into that later. But
Yeah,
I believe that's one of the ones that he said
jumped on
that
the
he.
sword for
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and he did another one with Vic, with Vic saying he called a defensive play, and it was like,
That's atrocious. To even say that. I mean, do you want to get into it now with the whole Sirianni stuff?
well, I mean, hold on, I got
Yeah.
something else. Another thing I noticed. So I thought this was pretty interesting. The defensive tackle rotation was a little bit different than we've seen coming in.
Sure.
Um,
I think we talked about that a little bit before.
Yeah, that we've
Yeah.
seen, it didn't seem like Davis was out there as much, and
Right.
our eyes were correct. So we have Jalen Carter rocking 43 snaps or reps. Milton Williams came in next with 26, and then Ajomo and Davis both had 21. Thomas Booker had 8. Now, mind you, Davis was the highest graded defender on our team last week in that limited amount of time. So maybe that's a good thing.
Okay.
I don't know. If that's what you're doing. I don't know if they're doing it to keep him fresh so he's around in the fourth quarter, just as strong as he was in the first. Or here's another little tidbit. If you go back from the start of the season, Jordan Davis hasn't taken 1 rep on a 3rd and 6 or longer this entire season. So they do not trust him. Apparently, they don't trust him yet as a pass rusher in obvious pass situations. So
Or not trust or just trying to rest him.
yeah,
You know
that
what I
could
mean?
be. And
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, if you think about it,
Let me be
and-
the devil in disguise there. You know what I mean?
well, I mean, it's not even. It's and I don't, because everybody's putting this bust label on Davis, and I think it's unfair right now. Was he
I agree.
overdrafted? I would say probably at this point he was overdrafted, but he is not an NFL bust. That guy is an NFL player. He is a quality
100%.
NFL lineman. So let's just get that out there and squash that bust stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I just think that we have people on this team, and we seen this was like a coming. If you go back and watch the tape, Moro Jamo had a freaking hell of a day. That guy had
Yeah.
a
Oh,
great
yeah.
day getting after the passer, just defeating blocks, wreaking havoc on that line. So, and then you have Milton Williams, who's also doing really well as a pass rusher this year. So why wouldn't you put the guys that are showing you more in on obvious pass than try to force Jordan Davis to do something that he's obviously not as good at right now? So I agree with the coaches, not playing him on the 3rd and obvious pass, 3rd and long.
Well, so
And people are killing him for it.
let me just put this out here right now. Muro Jama looks to be kind of the real deal.
Mhm.
7th round draft pick. 11.9% pressure rate, 15.9% pass rush win rate. However, it's the highest of the 2023 draft class, which is where he was drafted. Fifth highest in the fifth highest defensive tackle in the NFL.
Ojamo is right now.
Yes. Run defense grade though is pathetic. 58.5. So he needs a lot of work there. So it's like obvious pass downs. You want him out there. And then I mean, obviously, like rush downs, you want Davis out there. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer if that makes sense. You know, but,
and just keep that rotation going. I don't have a problem with that, you know. I have no problem with Davis being out there in obvious rush situations, and you know these guys, Milton Williams and Moro Ojamo, being out there in obvious pass. Like I don't have a problem with that, and that doesn't mean Davis is a bust. Just means his skill set is different.
Yeah, it's a tough week for Davis too. Just in what you'll see out there with us, you know, getting a look at Dexter Lawrence up close, and I've seen a few where it's like, you know, that's where we wanted Jordan Davis's trajectory, and he could still end up there. You know, I saw something that when it was time to pick up Dexter Lawrence's 5th-year option, you know, there were some people that were like on the fence about it. And if you go back and talk to those people, I'm sure, you know, so Jordan Davis could turn around. Not that I'm saying he's a bust. Not that I'm saying he's a bust.
He could definitely turn around when you get him out there for the right snaps. You know what I mean?
And I mean, he still has time to develop. It's like you just said with Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence didn't come in and set the NFL on fire. Like, it took a while for him to develop into what he is, and he is a monster right now. He has 7 sacks from the nose guard position through what, 5 games, 6 games? Like,
that's crazy.
That's unheard of. He's where his, I think 7.5 is his personal best in a season. So if he stays on the trajectory he's on, he's going to shatter a nose guard sack record if he stays on target here. Which I don't know that he can.
No, he won't. But
that's
at the same time, he's going to beat his own record, 100%.
Yeah, he may beat it Sunday.
So,
I mean, if we're getting into it, I mean, Cam Jurgens, he is like I'm not shitting on Cam Jurgens here. I'm just going to say straight up for what he is right now, and this is very reminiscent of what Kelsey was when he came in. Cam Jurgens is like a angle block leverage type of guy. If you line a guy head up on him, he's not great. And that was Kelsey for the first however long. And people were calling for Kelsey's head because it was an issue. And he figured it out. I think Cam will figure it out quicker than Kelsey did, and we'll be fine. But for right now, having Lawrence lined up over him Sunday, even if he's hurt, even if Lawrence isn't 100%, it's gonna be a long day for Cam, and we are going to need Becton or whoever's at guard if they happen to move Becton out for whatever reason, which I don't see happening.
We'll get into that though. We'll get into that too. Yeah.
But you're gonna have to have guards coming over and helping to control Dexter coming through.
Yeah. You mentioned Hurts. Hurts like throwing outside, and you know, you said you had some thoughts on that. What'd you see? Because I didn't get a chance to go back, and man, this week was kind of busy. I didn't get a chance to go back and really look at stuff. What'd you see in that regards with like Hurts and his throws?
If it's to me, I got a lot of good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Data on that. This comes from Fran Duffy.
Fran, shout out Fran.
When this is particular of middle over the field statistics. Okay, so Hurts ranks 32nd among qualifying quarterbacks throwing over the middle this year. From the seasons 2022 to 24, he ranks 43rd with the middle of the field percent at 16.8%. His 2022 rank was 25th with 22.8%. 23rd season was 28th with 15.6%. And then in this year, 24, he ranks 32nd with 15.9. So when
he's at 15.9?
Yes.
He was even that high.
This is the crazy thing. So when he throws over the middle, he's actually quite good.
Mm-hmm.
The margin of sample size is low though. You know what I mean? So it's like not the best You know what I mean? Obviously sample size, but he's limited there. So through 2022 to 24, Hurts ranks fourth with 0.31 middle over the field, and it's expected points added. It's like a new statistic. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody. But in the 2022 season, he's ranked 13th with a 0.23 EPA, which is expected points added, and then ranked first in 23 with 0.54, and then in 24, obviously he's only got so many games, but he's ranked 28th so far with a negative 0.07 EPA. So that's a new stat. Like a lot of people may not understand that. And if you want to come out and look at that, it's hard to explain. There's a lot of things that go into the statistic.
Yeah, the algorithm to figure that out.
Yeah, it's very hard to explain without having
Interesting.
more than enough time. So
Interesting. Yeah, these freaking algorithms, man.
Yeah, no,
I think that explains itself. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's in just. I'm just gonna focus on this game because I know that this is a pattern, and it's been a pattern, and it's gonna be a pattern for him, unfortunately. But for this particular game, again, if we go in and we watch what Jim Schwartz was doing and what that defense does, I mean, he ran a lot of single high,
Yep.
and he brought a lot of stuff down into the middle of the field to help stop the run. So the middle of the field was kind of a clusterfuck. So that lends itself to attacking outside the numbers. And then you get AJ back, who is just a freak of nature and 50
Dude,
50
he's
balls.
cheat code, man. It's
Yeah.
insane. Like just having that guy on the field is absolutely insane. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just had to say it, but yeah,
No,
go, I'm sorry.
it's true. No, and that's I believe that's why they attacked the outside as much as they did in this game. Just they knew what Jim was going to do coming in, and that was their counter to it. But having said that, this is still a problem. Okay, this is
100%.
it wasn't just this game. It was smart to do it this game. It plays into their strengths, but the fact that we have a track record of this going back to 22 and even in 21 there, but I really throw 21 away.
Right. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
this is his first year starting. Like I don't think he was really right. He started coming on at the end, but 22 is when he really took that step, and it still was an issue there. Not as bad as it has been, but it was still an issue in 22. 23, it got worse as the season went on, and it's been bad this year. But for this particular game, I'm actually glad they went the way they went. I was okay with some of the. I don't know about running go routes all the time, which I've seen go routes on almost every play. Rewatching
Hate
this,
that.
it's just like, wow, I don't know. And I'm noticing, and I don't know if it's just if that's the way they wanted to attack this, but sometimes it feels like we attack one half of the field. So we'll have guys on the other half doing stuff, but Hurts won't even look that way. Like his read is like for two guys on the right side of the field, or for three guys on the left side of the field, but he won't look to the right if he's looking to the left, and he won't look to the left if he's looking to the right. It's like they cut the field in half for him to make it simpler and attack that half of the field, which not great. Not great. I would prefer my quarterback to be able to attack the whole field, be able to see the whole field, digest what he's seeing, and deliver a strike to the
Piggybacking on
appropriate
that,
person.
yeah. With that said, like I have some tidbits from like the pressers and stuff that I kind of like took that I wrote down. But yeah, one of the ones in Sirianni's press conference today, he was asked, when offenses have like a thumbprint on them, like a Sirianni offense or a Kellen Moore offense, and it was kind of interesting. The answer he gave, he said something along the lines of, coaches, they adapt and they play to the strengths of their player. And I don't know, it kind of seemed like, and of course we're reading into this, I'm reading into this, but it almost seemed like, he's saying like they can only do what Hurts is capable of. If you read between the lines, it almost seemed like, hey, there's no real thumbprint on this. This is like we're maximizing the players we have. I don't know. I don't know. I could be. I mean, obviously, to get that take from what he said, you're reading into it. But
I mean, I that was the exact thing I thought too. When I heard that, I was like, okay, so he kind of just said that you have to cater your game plan to Hurts. Like you kind of have to water it. And this is again reading between the
Right.
lines. It was almost like he has to. Whoever is designing the offense has to take his skill set into account and takes his weaknesses into account. And this is what it is. That's why it looks like it did last year, because you have the same quarterback. He has the same skill set. You're going to do stuff that he's good at doing and comfortable at doing, not being under center, not throwing over the middle, throwing those deep routes, those go balls, those 50-50 balls, because he does throw a decent deep ball. I'll give him that, you know?
you think he
Uh,
does? Does he?
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay.
It depends the deepness of the ball, in my opinion.
I don't have. I think I agree, but that's been a point of debate for Eagles fans, right? Like, can he throw the deep ball?
Yeah, that's agreed. I mean, it
Yeah,
really
at
depends
times.
on the depth.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, I mean, he hits a lot of explosive plays. He drops some nice dimes out there.
Oh,
Misses
sure.
too, but I mean, that his most pretty balls are definitely the ones that he throws down the field. Like those are like, ooh, man.
And you know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna say this. Like, I'm gonna say this. No, I'm just looking at the last game. They throw that pitch to fucking Saquon out to the side there. It gets 5 yards, and then the next play is to
Or else.
AJ Brown. No, it wasn't a go. It was a back shoulder. You know what I mean? And AJ, if you ask me, AJ didn't get off it early enough. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the first drive.
Yep.
The first drive of the game.
Which,
I mean, that should probably be an AJ Brown catch, right?
yeah.
If we're getting nasty about things, whatever, you know what I mean? If we're getting ticky tacky,
No,
you
and
know.
I remember what you're talking
catch every single time.
Yeah, I know. I
what mean?
remember
So it's
exactly
like,
what you're talking
it's
about.
a good throw, and he doesn't get off. He doesn't get his head around in time. He hasn't played in a month. You know what I mean? So that's
if
the
that ball
situation there.
is like a tenth of a second later, I think he gets it. I think he get. And that
Well,
if you go
I
back
think
and
it's a
look,
good thrown ball. I really do.
yeah, me too. I just don't think he was ready for it.
I think it's on AJ.
Yeah,
Not playing for a month. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Which you're
let
gonna have
that
that,
be
Russ.
said. But that's just ticky tacky stuff,
No, I get it.
If we're throwing shots, here's another thing that kind of rubs me.
I'm
the
not throwing
wrong way.
shots.
All right, no, I get it. But like, all right, so you'll see, like, even after the win, and I get this sentiment too, but you'll see everyone, and they're like, well, without AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, they lose the game. Like that always irritates me. Like, I get it, but like that's why teams are built, right? Like you don't go like, oh, without Patrick Mahomes, no, they drafted Patrick Mahomes. We went out and traded for AJ Brown. We drafted Smith. Like, they're players on our team. Of course, without them, maybe we lose the game. Like that. I mean, that's obvious.
Patrick
it really irritates me, man.
Patrick Mahomes is winning with like Marquez Valdez Scantling. You can't even catch a fucking football. So it's like, there's that.
I know.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, of course, these are the players we brought in. Of course,
Yeah.
we need them to win
Yeah.
games. They're
Well,
like,
yeah, that was the big, like, people were killing when AJ was out and then Smitty went out, and like in between there, and Saquon was like pretty much the only offense that we had going. People were like, man, they'd be getting stomped out if they didn't have Saquon. But we do. That's
Yeah.
and the analogy that you used is the exact same thing I used against a hater, and he had no comeback from it. I was like, that's like saying the Chiefs are only winning because they have Patrick Mahomes. No shit. That's why they're winning.
yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? What's this even a discussion about here?
Yeah, like, do you
idiot?
want to just strip our whole team away and like play with no
Dude,
one?
obviously,
Like, what?
if we have practice squad up here, running with the first team, they're not going to be as good. Like, it's
Yeah.
just that's how it works, man.
Yeah.
That's why you bring good players in. That's why you acquire talent.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when two of your best,
Idiots.
one of your
Hey, speaking of overall offense, let's do this.
yeah.
rankings. Total offense 10th. Overall 336.8 yards per game. Passing 14th, 22.6 yard. I might be wrong on that. I think it's 220 something. I must have messed it up, but rushing 146.2 yards per game, scoring 18th, 21.2 yard plays per or points per game. I'm sorry, jeez. The whole passing thing screwed me up. But third down, 18th, 39.7%. Red zone, 25th, 44%. Pass attempts. This is the one thing that's gonna I feel like is actually a shot at me, because pass attempts per game, 31.4, rush attempts per game, 31.2. So I feel like that's a shot against me, but I also feel like the last game they kind of corrected it a little bit with the 19, or I think it was like 20 rush attempts per game. So total defense though, 11th. Yards per game we give up.
Our defense is 11th overall right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
After last game, I think we had a great game last game.
Yeah, no doubt we did. I mean, the defense only gave up 9 points and they didn't give up much yardage.
Exactly. That's the hugest thing. Yards per game we gave up 341.4. Points per game we gave up 21.2. Pass yards per game 218.4. Rush per game 123. 11 sacks, 2 interceptions. That's where we're at.
We're facing a Giants team with 26 sacks and 1 interception.
Yeah, that pass thing pissed me off because I don't know. I'll get back to us on that.
Have you guys been hearing any grumblings about the lack of motion again?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let me just comment on that here, because everybody's thinking that like we brought Kellen Moore in, we were going to be this motion happy offense. It's like, dude, there's a lot of things that go into that, and we are up. Last year we were like right around 24%, which I believe was dead last in motion pre-snap. Now we're I think at 47%, which is like middle of the pack. So we've done a lot more. I mean, we're doing it almost double what we did it last year. It's just other people are doing it more, so the numbers are skewed, if you understand where I'm going with that. So like people are using more emotion this year than they did last year. So that's why if we used 40% last year, we would be higher. So but here's the thing with that. Now, whenever we do motion, you're inviting the defense to move, right? And you're usually doing motion right before you snap the ball. So let's say we have a guy motion across and all of a sudden the front line shifts. Guess what? The entire blocking scheme that was called pre-snap shifts. If the mic shifts, the entire blocking scheme shifts. So I'm telling you right now, it's not Nick Sirianni saying, "Hey guys, we're not going to be, motioning." It's not Kellen Moore. I bet you it's Stoutland. And I bet you with Mailata being out, because he's the run game coordinator and he's the offensive line, so he wants to keep it simple. In run, we don't motion at all during runs, and that's 100%. I can tell you, it's because Stoutland does not want the line shifting at all. He wants his blocking assignment set. Doesn't want to have to worry about something weird happening in the play going dead because of the line messing up their assignments. So like that's something that people need to think about and pump the brakes. When you motion and then the defense moves or adjusts to you, it throws off like the blocking scheme for sure in assignments. It throws that stuff off. And if you're not used to it, which I mean, weren't a heavy motion team.
Without Kelsey though too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Kelsey is like the major player in that game, right?
Yeah. So Kelsey would have been able to adjust, I think, a little bit better than Cam. But also this year, think about it, you have Hurts calling his own protections, and it's the first time he's ever done that.
Yeah.
So you also have to compound that in there. So everybody just pump the brakes with the motion stuff. I think they're doing enough that it is helping Hurts without hurting him and without hurting the line. Like he's getting good information out of it at the line. He's checking into plays for the most part, at least last game that I seen him check into, like were obvious checks. They were good checks. Like there was, I should have wrote it down. I knew I should have wrote it down because I knew I was gonna forget it. But there was one that I was like, ooh, eeh. But for the most part, I was like, okay, I'm all right with that. When he checked it down there at the end to get that game sealing deep ball, I mean that was Jalen Hurts checking into that. So I mean he had some good stuff. It was a risky play, obviously, but it worked out. So I mean, just everybody with the motion stuff, just pump the brakes. We're doing it more than we did it last year. It's going to be a work in
100%.
progress. I mean, this
Yeah.
offense is going to be a work in progress moving forward. We're not in our final form by any means on either side of the ball.
I'm so tired of not being in the final form.
Oh, you and me both.
Let me just correct this. It was 220 yards per game, 220.6 yards per game passing offense.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Here-
I
oh,
messed
here's
it
a-
up. I typed all this stuff up and I just didn't get it in.
Gotcha.
0.
I got another little fun stat that everybody's going crazy over, which I'm on board with this. So we were talking about it the last pod right after the game, the under center stuff. John,
Ooh.
you had a question about that. You know, why run it out of the shot? Is it better to run out of the shotgun or under center? So Jalen Hurts has had 181 dropbacks this season, like straight dropbacks. He's been under center for 11. So
Okay.
170 out of shotgun, 11 under center. That's
But are they factoring in the tush push?
no. This is just straight
Okay.
dropback. So it's not designed runs. It's not
Yeah, don't
kneel
factor in that
downs.
tush push.
So I mean, to me, I don't think play action is as effective out of the shotgun. It just
I
doesn't.
agree.
It's not, and
It's more of a zone read, right?
yeah, and
Does that
not
make
only
sense?
so like look, whenever you're out of the shotgun, in the pistol, the running back can line up right behind you. I mean,
Right.
usually
Right.
doesn't, but it's usually on their left or right. In shotgun, it's always left or right. Dude, that gives the defense time to look and kind of telegraph where the run is going. And they have a good view of you. When you're under center and you're dropping back, it's less information for the defense on what is happening in that place. So they have to respect
100%.
more if you're under center as opposed to running out.
Right.
And also, and we can go back to that 3rd and 1 play that Barkley missed the block on. If you look at that, and this is something that I hate, his assignment was on the left side of the line, and he's standing on the right side of the quarterback. So he has to cross the quarterback's face to come over and get that blitzer. And that's where he's looking the entire time, mind you. So he's not standing on the right side looking at the right side of the line for anybody streaking in. No, his assignment is the left side to make sure anybody coming in untouched on the left side, that's his guy to pick up. So if the defense had a stunt or if they brought more people than we could block, that's where Barkley steps in. Why are you going to make him step in front of or cross your quarterback's face for that? That's just stupid to me. Bring him in fucking motion to the left side or just have him walk over and stand to the left side if that's where he is supposed to watch. If that's his side, and he was in a man block. He wasn't a zone block. He was in a man block there. So the first person that showed his face, that was Barkley's dude. And it took him, he missed, I don't know if he didn't see it right away or whatever, but either way, he was late getting there, and what would have been probably a touchdown to Smitty ended up in a blocked field goal, ultimately, that resulted in 7 points.
Do you think that's like a buy? Go ahead.
No, as I say, all because of one, just move your freaking back to the side. I don't care if the defense knows, oh, I don't have to cover him. I don't care. I would rather them know that and the guy be in the right spot to pick up the potential threat. I mean, I think that's more important than the defense knowing, oh shit, Barkley's staying in on pass pro here.
Yeah, but like that's the theme though, right? Because like we're talking about a 3rd down play that, okay, we're breaking down how this 3rd down play failed, but as we said on the previous pod, like we shouldn't have even been running that play. So like this team makes things harder on themselves.
Yeah.
Like there are stats to back that up.
I missed this a little bit because I went to pee, but this is the Barkley not first down?
No,
Am I right?
this is the
No.
missed block.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh
the
yeah,
missed block.
this
Yeah,
the
this
missed
is
block right after.
the
So yeah,
second.
the first,
Yeah, 100%.
yes,
That's the Nick Sirianni call.
yeah, that's what he said. And this
Yeah.
that's all right. I'll save it until we get into Nick, which is I'm sure is coming soon. But
No.
just on that play, like the bonehead play before that, you know, whatever. I think that, and I watched that from like 4 different angles, like
Well, did
watching
you
that,
see?
There's
the all
no,
20,
no.
the
Here's the
Watching
thing.
irresistible
yourself out of that,
excuse.
yeah.
Here's the thing. Did you see the play again where they, it's a over the top picture of Saquon Barkley getting that wheel route, if you will, or what is that? Am I
It's just
wrong
a
on the
yeah,
wheel
it's
route?
just a little like a flat dump off, like a
Yeah,
check down.
flat. Yeah. I mean, he just has nothing but space. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, get the first and get out, sure. But like he doesn't get it.
Yeah,
So
we
the next
had
thing is
3.
then you get Nick, the genius, Nick, the genius, the genius football player.
Well, the guy is he's in a breakdown mode. But I mean, yeah, it's these things that are just like, even like Hurts has a stat where it's he's like, a lot of his passes are like bottom of the barrel, like the completion percent. It goes back to like McGee, what you're saying, like these algorithms, like they're ranking him on like a lot of his passes are like the bottom of the catch probability.
Yes.
And it's like, why is that even happening? Like, just
I agree.
get this guy easy throws.
High percentage.
Yeah, like you're putting this guy in a bad situation. You're putting
Every
us with our
time.
play calling in a bad situation. I mean, it blows my mind. And like it's beating a dead horse, but like this is the team and we're talking about the team. And if we have to continue to have this conversation, then we'll continue to have this conversation. But like, it's just insane that like we can't figure it out. There's something missing and we can't figure it out. And the guys that are paid millions of dollars can't figure it out. So
If I can go ahead, Clayton.
No, I was gonna say,
I'm going to give my opinion on this.
I was gonna say real quick, I can tell you right now how to solve our first quarter slow start bullshit.
oof.
And it's not necessarily, run the ball. Throw high percentage passes. Run high percentage.
Three
routes.
high percentage plays.
Yes, thank you. And just
Yeah.
get the offense
That's in
in
my
a
notes.
rhythm. Get them going. Just that's all we need. We're going out there and it's like something stupid happens. Like that AJ, should have had that pass. Or, if you go back a couple weeks, like we'll get going and then we'll get a penalty. And now we're behind the sticks and the drive fails. Like it's stupid stuff, or a turnover. It was just stupid little stuff like that just keeps snowballing. And I honestly feel this is going to be the week. I know I said it last week, but this is going to be the week that we come out and we go down and score a touchdown on our first drive.
Well, listen
I'm
here.
telling you.
We got 5 first drives over this season, 22 yards.
Get out of here. It's that bad.
22 yards, my guys.
Yeah. It's dumb play calls. Like,
Well, these are the schemed up drives. Like
That's
it
just it. Like, this
doesn't
is-
make
you're-
sense.
yeah, you're scripting these, at least the first drive, 100%. There's a script. And it may not just be, okay, you're going to go out and call this play, this play, this play. It's like, okay, where are we at on the field? What hash are we on? Like it's very complicated, but it is scripted, and there are plays specifically picked out that if we're in this situation, you're calling this, or this. And Jalen knows that too. Like Jalen's part of that too. And it's hopefully they've learned that, look, man, just come out. We have to get going early. We have to. We have to jump on people. This team is great when it's front running. I don't know that it can be a come from behind team like it was.
This is my thing, and I don't know shit. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be honest. I don't know anything. But this is my thing. Like, let's say, okay, I'm going to look at last game. We pitched the ball for 5 yards. You know what I mean? To Saquon. The next play for me would probably be a run, whether he runs it for a yard or 2, 3 yards, and then it's going to be like a small down. You know what I mean? It could be a
third
tush
and
push.
manageable. Yeah.
Nobody knows. It's a high percentage play. So that's where I'm at. And what happens is like we haven't scored any first quarter points. We haven't even got a first down, I don't think, on our first drive. So let's start with a first down.
Exactly.
I mean, let's get a high percentage play for a first down. It depends, the yardage. I'm not, I don't want to get on semantics, you know what I mean? But any route, like it really all depends on what it is. But like, can we just get a high percentage play? Let's
a series of them.
Or let's maybe get a slant if we're gonna throw, because they love to throw. You know what I mean? Let's get slants all day.
That's the thing that is weirdly absent from this offense. You have AJ Brown, who is like a cheat code.
Slant. He's a slant king. Yeah. Slant king.
You could go out there and slant on these guys 11 times, and I'm willing to bet the house AJ comes up with at least 9 of those.
No, yeah, exactly. I was going with 9 too.
So I mean, it blows my mind that we don't slant across the center of the field. Now, don't get me wrong, the mesh concepts that we're doing now are so much better than they were. They really did a good job. We were getting offensive pass interference every single time we ran a mesh concept last year. And it's so much better this year. So, I mean, and you even brought that up earlier, John. When Hurts goes to the center of the field, the motherfucker's good. Like, I don't understand why he's so adverse to doing it.
That was Fran Duffy, but the sample size was small, extremely small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I agree. I think it's like we say this every week. I have a good feeling that this week will be the week that will go down the field and score. But before we get to that, I've been on social media, and I got to say this, and maybe I'm smoking the copium, dipping the copium, but have you guys seen that video of Sirianni at practice kind of staring ahead with many men blasting out of the speakers?
Jesus.
Here's where I'm going.
Looking like the final boss.
Jesus.
Dude, that fired me up, man. That fired me up because it's like, I don't know. I want that, was it the foxhole mentality?
Yeah.
That like, I don't know. It fired me up that like, yes, we're maybe building something here. We're like, I don't know. Like he's playing that at practice. Like we're starting to get that. We're starting to get that like us against the world. We got coaches back. He's insane, clinically insane. He's gone off the deep end. And like if we can stack a win here, I don't know.
I mean, obviously I want to stack a win here, but can I just be the bearer of bad news for one time? And I'm sick of being negative. Okay.
No, you're fine.
This whole podcast for me is to be positive. That's the whole thing. I don't want to dominate. I just want to get better. But the thing of it is though, with Nick, in his post-game presser, he said, I called one play on offense and one play on defense.
Yeah, it's awful. He shouldn't say that at all.
Yeah. Obviously the play on offense being that 3rd and 1, and then the play on defense, we don't know, but hurried up, during the week, Vic Fangio says, no, he didn't call no play on defense. So it's like, what is it, dude? Like, what are you like? Are we lying or like, I just don't know where we're going there. And I don't want to get into any, like, again, semantics. Like, I just don't understand that. You know what I mean? And I'm saying like,
well, what he's doing, what he's trying to do is
the point. I don't understand the point because I don't know where Vic got beat. I obviously understand where like, if Kellen calls the play on 3rd and 1 and he gets shit on, you know what I'm saying? The sack and then having to kick the field goal or whatever, it makes sense. Sirianni's trying to be the bigger guy, take the fucking blame. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know what the play on defense is.
There is no.
That makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's like, what? Like, are we just being weird or?
If I had to break down the situation,
I don't know where we're going. I don't know where we're going. Go ahead,
If
Alex.
I had to break down the situation for you, probably what it is you got a guy, he's coaching for probably his job. I think it was well known that probably like after that game, it's all going downhill. So I think you have a guy. He's your colleague, and he's coaching for his livelihood. Man to man. I think he probably suggested something to Vic in the heat of the moment. I think they were a little. I think they might have listened to him, maybe not. I don't know exactly the specifics of that, but if I had to guess that they listened to him just man to man, you're coaching for your livelihood. Okay, it's you to do, and then after in the press conference, he's trying to be the bigger man, fall on the sword, do the leadership thing. But it's absolutely atrocious because not only do you have to make Vic answer questions about that, like it just doesn't make any sense. It's giving fodder to the media. I mean, it's just awful. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I interpreted the whole situation.
Well, Kellen Moore kind of let the cat out of the bag. So I can tell you guys with 100% confidence when Nick's saying that he's calling plays on offense or defense, he is not. He is lying. He's
He's
being
a li- he's a liar, dude.
He's a liar. He's being a lightning rod. He's taking all the punishment. He wants all the smoke at him. He doesn't want
Then
any of
fuck
his
Kellen Moore.
coordinators. So I mean, Kellen Moore. Well, even Vic. Vic was like he didn't call a specific play. He just got on the mic and mentioned a tendency that they like to do, at this particular time, at this particular spot on the field, in this particular situation. And head coaches are going to do that. Like that, it doesn't matter where you are, what level you're at. I mean, obviously not a peewee level, but like high
Yeah.
school, college, pros. You're going to get that. The head coach is going to be, even if the head coach is not calling plays, he's going to be involved. He's going to be speaking about tempo, stuff like that. Like he is going to be making decisions, and be involved in conversations about what's happening. It's not that he is necessarily 100% calling a play like, hey, 36 dive. I want it right here, right now.
Right.
No, he's not doing that. And
Well,
even Kellen Moore said when on that play that they asked him, specifically that 3rd and 1 that Jalen checked into, he was like, that was a key. That was an audible, or that was an automatic. He said, I think is what Kellen said, which is their audible.
You know what that specifically tells me then? Because if you look at the Chargers receiver map, and then you look at the Eagles and nobody's over the middle, and like you look at the Chargers where Keenan Allen's just running all over the place, like crazy. That tells me that it's on Hurts.
It's on Hurts.
That's exactly what that tells me then.
But before we start killing Hurts for this, just remember, Kellen Moore's offense is new to him. And even in the offseason when they were talking to him, he said to him it felt 95% new. He's still learning right now. So I think they're kind of and I know a good quarterback can play without his weapons, but he was down, AJ, his favorite guy, for what, 3 games? And he was down both of them for a game, and he was down his best lineman for a game. That all were out. So I think if we can keep everybody together here, specifically Hurts and your 2, outside threats in Smitty and AJ, I think we're going to see this offense start to evolve. You're going to see different concepts coming in. They want to bring it along slowly, it is my hope. Because if this is what it is the rest of the way, it's not going to cut it, man. This is not an NFL caliber offense, but it can be. We can start incorporating stuff into it. And to be honest with you, if you want to go vanilla, I'm okay with you doing vanilla earlier in the season as opposed to later in the season, which we've seen from this team. It's like last year when that collapsed, we went straight vanilla, trying to simplify it, and it didn't. They were just throwing stuff at the wall. They couldn't figure out how to fix it. And I don't think that there was a fix last year.
No.
Yeah.
But this year, I think they're doing it right. I think they're doing the opposite. They're doing it vanilla. They're getting Hurts comfortable with stuff that he hasn't done before. And keep in mind, like I said, brand new scheme, but he is also doing something he has never done in his professional life. He always had Kelsey there to carry him. He's setting up his own protection schemes. He's doing everything at the line himself. So I don't think they want to overload him. And I think as the season goes on here, something to be optimistic about. This offense will start to evolve, hopefully, and we'll start to see more complex schemes and routes.
I was gonna say, like, I'm tired of being negative. I want to fucking, I always say I want to dominate. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But this week, I just want to get 5 to 10% better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's just,
All
let's
right.
just,
I like
you
that.
know, I'm tired of being negative. I always say I want to dominate every single podcast. Like this is where I'm at. I just want to get 5 to 10% better, win the game.
If you can
Obviously,
keep that
like,
mindset,
yeah,
you'll be
I'm
way
gonna keep that
happier
mindset. I'm
moving
gonna keep that
forward.
mindset. I mean, obviously, I always want to dominate, but
Yeah.
no, this is where I'm at this week. I want to just get 5 to 10% better.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right,
And
guys.
I think we'll see it.
Let's look ahead at that game. What do you guys think? I think we'll probably push right on through. We don't need a bump. Let's push on through. What are we thinking? Do we think do we think we're gonna come out tight game? Obviously, I think there's injuries on both sides, but what's everyone thinking?
I'd like to
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna. I honestly, I'm feeling good about this game, and I'm with you, John. Like, I don't think we're gonna come out and just curb stomp these guys. I think it's gonna be another close game. But I think I don't know, man. Like I said, going back and watching that game last week, I feel better. I feel. I guess the Tampa Bay game was like rock bottom so far this season, so
Yeah.
it's only up from there. And that influenced my disappointment after the game, immediately after. But going back and watching, there's evolution happening here, and it's not just scheme wise. There's players that are getting better each week.
Yeah.
Look at Nolan Smith. I know it's a low bar. Look at Bryce Huff, again, low bar. But
Yeah.
these guys, this is stuff, and I get they weren't going against a great offensive line, but that doesn't matter. What matters is they had success, and confidence is like a big, big factor in sports, man. If you're confident in yourself, I'll take a more confident guy over a more talented guy. A guy that believes
sure.
in himself 100% that he's going to go out there and stomp your ass, to a guy that, is just like, yeah, whatever. I'll take the guy that's cocky.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
So-
Well, here's man, go ahead, man.
No, I was gonna say, so that's like where I'm at with it. It's so funny that John came in with that mindset, because that was like, I've been tempering my expectations for this team. Coming into the season, I thought we were a Super Bowl contender. I'm not going back on that, but I'm saying right now, I don't know that we are. In fact, I would say we aren't. But
Ugh. I think we're a
but-
trade away, though.
yeah, 100%. And before we get out of here, I do want to talk about some.
Yeah,
some
no, I
potential
got a lot of things for that too.
But no, I mean, let's just go out here and look a little bit better than at least a little bit better than we did last week. Let's get
Yeah.
out of MetLife
Yeah,
injury free, because that's a shithole of a stadium. And let's just keep building, man. Let's just keep stacking. Right now, this is the
Stacking is the
part-
biggest.
Yeah, right here, this part of the schedule, we need to stack wins that we can put in our bank, because it's going to come down to it. At the end of the season, what we did down this line right here is gonna be a big deal at the end.
I said 5% better. I want to get 10% better every game. You know what I mean? I want to eliminate the turnovers, obviously, and let's just get better every game. Right? Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Yes,
It
yes.
does. Yeah, I think we should. Let's
Yeah.
talk injuries. Both sides are banged up. We're going to be without Mailata, who went on the injured reserve.
Yep.
They got some heavy hitters banged up as well. They have let's see, Dexter Lawrence, he's got the hip issue. Who else is banged up? Their left tackles. Andrew Thomas is out.
Yeah,
out for
he's
the
on
year.
IR. Thibodeau's IR'd, which is a big deal. Brian
Yeah.
Burns, their best edge, is dealing with a groin. He's questionable. Their punter is out, so that's
Yeah.
kind of a big deal, special teams wise. So hopefully Coop DeJean can take advantage of that. Yeah, and then Lawrence is questionable, and then
Yeah.
Adoree Jackson is out, so he's been ruled out already.
Nice.
Melata's out just in time for the newest Christmas album,
He's got to record.
if you will. However, Goddard's out. There was no timeline on that, so that's kind of
Well, that's his obligatory,
Yeah.
2 to
Yeah.
3, 4 games here.
So obviously, I might have missed this between you guys. Did they elevate CJ Uzoma or whatever his name is? And because they run a lot of like 12-13 style formations, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, last
obviously
game they
want,
ran all 12.
yeah.
It's crazy. Even with Goddard out, they ran 12 like almost exclusively. I couldn't understand it. I think this week they're actually going to spread them out more.
So
I think
you don't
you're going
think
to see.
did
No,
they
I don't.
elevate Uzama or
You almost
so
have
here's
to
the other
because
thing.
who do you got? You only got 2
Well,
tight ends.
okay, so here's the other thing. They got Sidney Brown. No, this is not a tight end thing, but I'm just
Mhm.
coming out here with this. Sidney Brown, they have where am I at? Where's my notes? Sidney Brown, they got what's his name? Alberto is the guy.
Alberto,
The
yeah, he
20
just came
he's
back.
on a 21-day window.
Yep.
So obviously if they don't elevate him, you know, he's gonna get IR'd for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So
Same with Anaya
that's the
Smith
other
too.
tight end. Yeah. Anaya Smith, you know, and that's where I was, you know, we're in injuries. I didn't want to go because I didn't want to talk about too much because we're talking about the tight ends, obviously.
Mm.
But Alberto would come in if they're gonna play him. Other than that, I think they're gonna elevate if they didn't already elevate CJ Uzama, which I might have missed. I might have missed during the week. So I'm just saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see. I think with them putting Mailata on IR, it'll open a roster spot for Sidney Brown to come back. I think they want to get him back on the active roster here.
I think there's plenty of places to mess around there, but
Yeah, I don't know.
it was Sidney Brown, Alberto, and Anaya Smith all participated and could be elevated back to the roster on the
Yep.
21-day window. You know, there's a lot of players that had injuries during this week. Jalen Carter, one of them, who obviously came
He had
back.
that shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a full participant today, thank fucking
Sl-
God.
Yeah.
Slay had the knee. Eli Ricks had the groin. Byron Young, who looks like he's not going to be able to go with the
Yeah, he's out.
hamstring. Milton Williams came back with the ankle, and then Jalen Hunk with the ankle.
Yeah, it looks like Slay is questionable and
Yep.
Eli Ricks is out.
Correct.
Eli Ricks is, I mean, that's not a huge thing because
No, he's not really even
yeah,
playing.
he's not really, in the action here. So that's not a big deal for him to be out. I just hope he gets healthy. Yeah, or everybody else is good to go. Jalen Carter has no game status. Thank God.
No,
Yeah.
Jalen Carter's going. Slay, on the other hand, it could be Rogers or Ringo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
good thing to see for Rogers is that, you know, we talked about the hand last week. Obviously that didn't come up on the injury report at all, so it looks like he's good to go.
Yeah. Slay, it seemed optimistic that Slay might be ready. No?
I think Slay will probably play.
Yeah, and
Really
this is
do.
the thing with Slay. I don't know, honestly, because he was bitching about this field. He hates this playing on this field. So I don't know if they're going to be, precautionary with him and sit him this game, just in case. But either way, I'm okay because he is hurt, like 100%. He's not going to be full Slay out there.
Yeah.
So he is questionable. So he's dealing with something. He's not going to be 100%, and he hasn't been setting the world on fire at 100%. For being honest,
He's
So
been
I'm okay.
terrible.
I'm okay with if Rogers or Ringo or both come in. I love what Q's doing. I love what I seen in the debut from Coop. So I think our secondary is equipped to handle it if Slay doesn't play. I mean, obviously, even a 75% Slay may be better than Rogers or Ringo. Who knows?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can I
But-
say this though?
Yeah.
Anaya Smith coming back. Maybe that gives us the boost we need at a third.
Count on it.
Dude, come on. It may not be Dodson, but maybe
What's Dodson done? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, can Anaya Smith give us the third wide receiver that we need?
I hope so.
We were hoping.
I mean, I would love to see that. I won't be.
uh,
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic on it.
you are the optimistic guy now. You're all positivity.
Yeah, I'm out
You're
here.
all- You're all,
Yeah. Let's do 10% better.
Yeah.
what are you coaching the Dolphin Bobcats over there now?
Yeah, I'm out. Jeff Easton.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I hope we get 5 to 10%.
You know what it is?
Better, dude.
I'm tired of being the negative piece of shit. You know what I
No,
mean?
you're
Like,
not. Jesus.
yeah, I don't want to be the dominate guy anymore. Like, I'm trying to get better about it.
All right. Hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I want to
Yeah.
just get better every week. That's where I'm at.
I mean, is that the mentality now? Just get
Yes.
better as a team.
Yes.
I think it is. Yeah, I mean,
I
feel
agree.
like- I feel like we are like sitting our like as a fan base. We're like, yeah, dude, who doesn't want to go out and like dominate? Like, of course, but like,
Yeah.
Is it
Sure, you know.
realistic?
yeah.
No.
I mean, you're setting the reason fans are getting so pissed is because they're setting unrealistic expectations for this team
Correct.
where they're at right now. Let's just meet them where they're at, Instead of
Yeah.
demanding that they be way up here, let's just meet them where they're at and let's grow.
Yeah, I agree.
Win
I agree.
games.
Yeah,
That's how you
stack
do it.
wins. Stack
That's
wins.
how you do it.
It doesn't, and I'm done with the style points. I was Mr. Style Points going into the Browns game. I'm done with that shit. I don't care anymore. I just want a W. I want that number in the W column to increase, and I want the number in the fucking L column to stay the same every week.
100%.
That's all I care about. I don't care about points scored or points against. I don't care about how many yards our offense put up and how many yards our defense gave up anymore. Like that
I
shit
got-
will come.
I got something for both of you guys. Hugh Douglas. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Q.
Was talking to he made a message on social media for Bryce Huff. Okay.
Oh.
He said you ought to go into Vic Fangio's office, not violence wise.
Oh, I
I'd
saw that.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
So he said you ought to go up into Vic Fangio's office, not violence wise, but tell him stop using me incorrectly. And I like to rush, off 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw a lot about that this week about Nolan Smith too, about people getting on him for like their stances. Whether
Mhm.
it's 4-point or standing up. I mean, maybe Clayton can speak to that. I'm not sure which is better, or, what's worse.
Honestly, it depends what type of rusher you are. For Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith, for this matter, because they're both a speed rusher, they're not power rushers. If you and Bryce Huff, they asked him about this in an interview. I'm paraphrasing here. He said that when he is rushing, and this is why we see him fall down a lot. When he's rushing standing up, his center of gravity isn't right, so he feels like he's out over his pads more, so he doesn't feel as comfortable moving forward. And you can see it. He looks different. But when he's in that 4-point and he's like shooting like just a torpedo out of his stance, he's way better. He's getting underneath guys and getting around them. Whereas he doesn't have quite the bend that he has when he's standing up and getting around them. And he's not as comfortable, and he's falling over. There for a while, I thought it was the first game. I was like, oh, that's just the field. And then I started seeing him fall more and more as the weeks went on. I was like, what the hell is happening? Get this guy some cleats. No, it's because he's not comfortable speed rushing standing up. And I get it. I mean, it's like a sprinter. If a sprinter is like just standing up as opposed to, in the blocks, it's different. Like the get off matters a big deal. And in this, you're talking about 1 to 2 seconds. That's all you got to get back there. And a good quarterback will have the ball out. So 1, 2. That's it. That's the time you have to cover about 5 yards at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want if he is more comfortable and he looks faster getting out of a 4-point stance than he is standing up, just let him do it, man. I get that he has responsibilities and stuff. Then maybe just bring him in on obvious pass. Maybe just treat him like he was treated at the Jets. I know you're not paying him to be a situational pass rusher. You're paying him to be an all-down, edge. But maybe that's not him right now. And again, let's stop trying to put people into boxes
Yeah.
they don't fit in. Let's
Exactly.
let's start doing
That's
what
the
we do
key.
with Hurts. We're not trying to put Hurts in a box he doesn't fit. And the entire coaching staff's getting killed for it instead of Jalen getting killed for it. But
Mhm.
it's his skill set that is the reason the offense looks the way it looks. That's what he's comfortable with. Okay? So we're not killing Jalen for it. Let's stop killing these other guys that are being used improperly.
Yeah, let's use players the way they excel.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all you can do, according to Nick Sirianni. Just coach to their strength. you
Coach
know?
of their strength.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for it. This was a crazy stat that I saw. In the last 20 years, we've only lost to the Giants 4 times.
Ooh, I'm knocking on wood.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, now that I said that.
Yeah, I would have never even said that.
Well, it's a stat. It's out there. What, could I say it? I mean, what, it just
Oh,
doesn't
God
exist. Is that what I'm
damn it.
saying?
God damn it.
No, I
We're
feel good
losing.
about it. I feel good about it. I don't know.
Throw Boston Scott.
Dude, we should sign him. Is he
Yeah.
anywhere?
Yeah.
Is he just floating around?
He was with the Rams. I don't know if they released him.
Yeah,
think
they
they
did. They ended up releasing him, yes.
Dude, would that be the ultimate flex to pick him up for one game to go
And
back
then
to
cut
the
him
Giants
immediately
stadium?
after.
Yeah, and then cut him. Just like, hey, we'll give you some money. What are you earning now? We'll give you some money. Come in, play a game.
You know,
And then,
it'd be hilarious. He just comes in, breaks off like 100 yards.
I know. That's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
love
It's
it.
a flex.
2 touch.
Well, here, now that we're talking about running backs, okay, how do we not mention this is the
Uh-huh.
homecoming for
Yeah.
Barkley going back
Yeah.
to MetLife. What are we thinking about that? I mean, I say you
I
feed
got
him
this.
you feed him the rock.
I got this in my notes too. Yeah, I think he's going to have a great game. I really do. Because not only that, Dexter Lawrence called it war. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Oh yeah.
He's not able to
but-
declare war, that
Yeah,
coward.
exactly. Yeah, he sucks. But not sucks, but
I know what you mean.
he's very good, but
He's trash.
he's gonna get he's gonna get destroyed. You know, he's gonna eat
Yeah.
those words. Eat those words is what I was looking for.
Well,
Which is
yeah,
it's kind of funny that he's talking shit like that because that defense, for as good as they are at getting after the passer, which coming into this week they were the number one sack, they were the sack leaders at 26. Broncos overtook them last night. I think they got 2 more, so there's like 28, 26 either
They-
way. But they're not good against the run. And another thing I just want to throw out there, they're feast or famine in the sack game too. If they get to you, they put you down, but their pressure rate and their win rate is not. To look at this team and be like, man, these guys are sack leaders. They must just be, dominating offensive lines. They're really not. When they get there, they finish. That's the big thing. But their win rate and sack or pressure rate is not all that great. It's not that impressive. So, and their run defense is very, very bad, porous.
dude, you know who Sirianni reminds me of?
Oh,
He's like the drunk dude at the bar, right? Like the way too drunk dude. It's like,
yeah.
it's like, hey man, no, it's like, hey man, you gotta relax. You gotta stop doing that. You can stay, but and then he's like, yeah, man, yeah, sure. And the minute you turn your back, he's like doing the same exact thing. It's like Sirianni, it's like, oh man, you can stay, but like we're gonna bring in an OC. And it's like, no, you're off it. Like you're just getting, yeah, for sure. And he starts to creep back in.
He's a drunk Marine at the bar.
What?
Look, projections for the game here.
All right, let's talk it.
First drive. Where are we at?
First drive, I
You
think
gonna stop?
like
Go ahead.
yeah, well, no, I just think like first drive. I think going back to like Clayton's question, which is a good question. I think for the time until we right this ship, you win that coin toss, you take the ball, and I think we take the ball, and in this game, you give it to Saquon. I think you do. I don't care about their D line. All right, maybe you don't give it to them, 3 consecutive times, but I want to win and lose with Saquon getting some vengeance here.
Yeah,
that's what I think we do.
Clayton?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm going to feed Saquon until they prove that they can stop it. And I'm almost guaranteeing that that's going to be a point of emphasis. They don't want Saquon coming in there and wrecking shop, especially after how public that breakup was.
Right.
And it being on TV, behind the scenes, everybody's seen it all. And this was the owner's biggest fear. Saquon, rolling in and thumping them in midnight green.
Oh yeah.
So, if I were the Giants defensive coordinator. That would be my biggest thing. You know what? AJ, Smitty, and Hurts can do their thing. Saquon will not do anything to this team. But
Yeah.
on the flip side, you got to keep feeding him. Especially first drive, high percentage throws, feed Saquon. Get the line, especially because you have, Big Fred out there on the edge. Get him into a groove too. These linemen like moving forward more than moving backwards. So if you can get, the run game established early, get them, not having to worry about Burns coming, off the edge on him. You're coming downhill at him. Turn the tables, get that confidence, get them in a groove, feeling good. That would be my game plan coming out. And like I said, I would almost be anticipating that they're going to go all out to stop Saquon, but I wouldn't blink. I would just keep feeding him the ball
Oh yeah.
early anyway.
Everything too. I want to see that nasty wheel route of his. Like I say, we deploy him. Here's one thing I wanted to say. Here's what I want to see out of this team now that we're talking about it. I want for the rest of this season, I don't want this lethargic group of men coming out. You know what this team needs to be? They need to be ravenous wolves. I want to see a group of guys that come. I want them to pick every last piece of meat off the bone. I want them to be hungry. I want them to be snarling, like our intro says. Sirianni says snarling. I want these guys to go in there and take everything. I want them to impose their will on everybody who lines up across from them until the end of the season, until the final seconds of our season, wherever it ends. I want them to be ravenous wolves. Leave nothing, take everything, impose your will. Chauncey, punch a guy. I don't care. Do it situationally. Don't cause a 15-yard penalty where we don't need it, but go out there and punch a guy. I want these guys to go out there hungry. That's what I want.
Yes.
That's what I think we need to do.
You know
If
what's
they do, they'll win.
hilarious? I said that every week. I want to dominate, but now I'm a
Not
10%.
even dominate. I don't care.
I'm a
I don't care if it's
10%
dog
better
fight.
guy. I'm a
I don't care if
10%
it's a-
better guy.
Dude, I don't care if it's a dog fight, but I want you in that dog fight being hungry,
fighting.
ravenous.
We all know. I'm fighting.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what I think. I mean,
I love it.
This
I
slow
fucking
starts.
love
I'm
it.
over it. I'm over it. Over it.
I mean, here's the thing. Let's score points on the first drive. You know,
Yeah,
we got
that'd be nice.
22
Crucial.
yards.
In the first quarter.
22 yards on the first drive is all we've got. Let's be prepared because we're the most unprepared team in football.
Mhm.
Let's possibly run the ball. First down. Let's maybe run the ball second down, depending on what we get.
Yeah. Well, I agree. All right, guys,
then
let's do predictions. We're wrapping. It's getting late. You
Yeah,
guys are on the
no.
East Coast. It's getting late. Let's wrap this up. Anybody got a bold prediction?
We're winning.
I think I said it last week, but and he should have. I think Quinion gets his first pick. I think
Ooh,
Danny
love it.
Dimes is going to give it to him. And I'm going to pick us to win it 21-17. Nothing fancy. And I do want to go ahead for your guys' prediction. I do want to touch on one more thing before we get out of
Yeah.
here.
I'm gonna go 24-21. Eagles
Right on.
Eagles in a semi-close one. But it might seem less close than the score indicates. 24-21.
I'm going to go 30 plus for the Eagles
Ooh, I
Yes.
love it.
to 10.
Nice.
We will.
Love it. 30
Love
to
it.
10. That'd be amazing. My God.
30 plus.
30 plus.
All right.
Good.
All right, so just to touch on some extracurricular stuff before we get out of here. The Reddick news drama, just want to
Yep.
update everybody on that. So he's been given permission to seek a trade. What does that mean for the Eagles? That means if he gets traded to an NFC team, that 2026 third-round pick becomes a guaranteed second-round pick.
Correct.
So
Love it.
that's a big deal. That's Howie's a genius for writing that in there.
Oh yeah,
That's
for sure.
That's awesome. Also, rumors swirling. Myles Garrett may be available.
Yeah, they did.
Also,
saying that-
Crosby.
I was gonna say that was my next one. Crosby for sure. They're saying is going to be available.
You got to go Crosby. You got to go.
Really?
I think so.
Here's where we're at. Here's my opinion on that. So, you hear people talk. The consensus is kind of, we're on the fence. Are we buyers? Are we sellers? You know, this team is not in a big splash situation, but I feel like for
Right.
either of those two, those are cornerstones for a franchise. If you're able to snag them at any point where your team is, I think you get them.
I think it depends after this game.
I don't
Right.
even think, dude, say it's a losing season, but you have the ability to get one of those guys. I mean, we're not going to lose for the next 4 years.
Yeah. So
Those
Crosby's
guys don't want to
27.
come.
Well, Garrett said that everybody wants to be an Eagle, and he could see himself
yeah.
being here.
And I don't know if
Okay.
you follow Crosby's Twitter, but his whole thing is like he always posts the Eagle. I mean, there's something there.
Crosby's it. That's the key.
Well, I mean, he's 1 year younger. His contract's a little bit crazier than Myles Garrett. But either one would really help this team. And Elliott Shore Parks had an interesting take on this that I kind of agree with. Even if it would take a one to get one of them here, I think we're in a good position. If you look at this team, it's a very young team. I mean, defense, extremely young. And you got, a decent core of guys together. I mean, they're never going to invest in linebacker. So anybody out there saying, you ain't got shit at linebacker, well, guess what? They're never going to invest a first or second round pick on a linebacker. Get over it. It's going to be undrafted free agent, or late pick in the draft. That's where they're at with that position. They have zero value on it, and it's not going to change. I know we thought the same thing about the running back, but Saquon's a different animal, and we were in a position where that was like the final touch, on paper coming into the season. You look at us, you're like, that's the final touch right there that puts that offense, over the top. I wouldn't be against throwing a first round pick at either one of these guys. I think if you're serious about being a contender this year and this season,
Right.
you have to go out and make a move if you can. And this is another thing. An elite edge rusher rarely becomes available. When they do, it's usually because they're washed out of their prime.
Mhm.
That's it. They're just the name at that point. They're not the same, animal that they were ripping it up. These two, Myles Garrett, he's 28. I'm telling you right now, the next 3 years, this guy is going to be a freak. He's going to continue to be a beast for the next 3 years. Crosby's 27. He is going to be a freak for the next 3 to 4 years. Like, these are two elite edge rushers. And we, let's just be honest, we don't draft edge good. We miss constantly when we throw high draft picks at them. You have two known quantities right here in either of these guys, and either of them would immediately upgrade your team.
100%.
So I don't know if I'm Howie, dude, and the rumors are true. Either one's available. I don't necessarily have a pick on which one I'd want. I guess if I had a gun to my head, I love Myles Garrett. He's just a freak of nature to me.
Yeah.
He's one
Yeah,
of the
which one
best
you
players
taking?
in the team. I would take Myles Garrett if you held a gun to my head, but I'm
yeah.
happy with either one. If you told me if I wake up tomorrow and the Eagles had traded a first and a second round pick for Crosby, I'm just as ecstatic, dude. Like, I'm okay
Yeah.
with it
Me too.
I'll say this.
because we need it.
Between the two, Myles Garrett, little ticky tacky hurt, but the one thing, like, I've followed Crosby a little bit because my brother,
Yeah.
Clayton,
Yep.
he's a giant Raiders fan, but Crosby has like done nothing but get his health right. Like, he has
Oh yeah.
particular trainer, I mean, they all have that, but like, as far as like health and everything wise, like,
Yeah.
he is at the top of like health wise.
I like
Not-
that.
I mean, just like, I guess it's hard to say, but like trainers and all that stuff, he's eating well,
Yeah,
all
nutritionists
that
and
stuff.
whatnot.
Yeah, all
He's
that
smart
stuff.
about
Like,
it.
he's just like, he's all about it, So I love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I would take either one in a heartbeat. And I don't care if you're giving up a first and a second round pick to get them here. get him here. I think this team is in good enough spot. I mean, if you look at it, the only people that we're going to have to replace potentially moving forward, the linebacker situation is a revolving door. Obviously, it's always going to be that. Lane Johnson, he's still got a couple more years left, but I mean, you are going to have to eventually get the heir apparent in here and get him learning under him. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, Goddard will probably be gone when his contract's up. So you're going to need a quality tight end. That's it, man. That's all you're going to need for the next couple years. I mean, everything else looks good. Your edge is the weakest, most glaring spot on this team, and it used to be our biggest strength, man, getting after the quarterback. So, yeah, if we can get one of these two guys in here, doesn't matter to me who. I take Garrett. I'll take Crosby. I'll give up a first and a second round pick. I don't care. Make it happen if it's possible, Howie.
Yeah, I agree. I agree fully.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, well, people say this all the time, but go ahead.
No, I didn't hear what Sean said there.
Yeah, no, me either.
First and a second. Jesus.
I would do it. I would do it.
I would.
That's a season-changing move. That's a franchise.
Well, yeah, we got to get through this game. I think everything comes through this game. You know, we lose this game. You're not giving up that, right?
But why not though?
I still would.
Why not? Why not do you, if you have a chance to get a guy of that caliber who is going to, like Clayton said, be a premier player for the next 3 to 4 years at least. I mean, like, do you think we're going to be in a rebuild mode if we don't win next season or next game? Like, are we just rebuilding for the next 3 years?
Not rebuild mode, but like if we don't win the next couple games, like Jesus.
You think we're going to turn into sellers?
We're in win mode now. You know what I mean? Like, and
Exactly.
again, we
are
at these,
sellers.
we're-
I mean-
listen, we're at these easy games. You know what I mean? But like, it's only going to get tougher. You know what I mean?
don't-
So it's
I
like
don't-
you don't win against the easier guys. You're definitely not going to win against.
Okay, well, even if you're
And
sellers,
I hate to even say it.
no, but even if you're sellers this year, if you have the option or the ability to get one of these guys for just to have on your roster for the next 2.
No, I love it.
Do you get what I'm saying though? Like,
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
do.
matter if it's down the drain this year. Like, we're gonna have to rebuild and
Don't
retool
say
either way.
that. We're not down the drain.
No, I'm going off your point that like we're not waiting for the next game or the next 2 games.
I hate to say it, but you got to look at it like that.
I disagree. I disagree.
You have to look at it like that.
Well, yeah, for this year, like we're not going to get like an aging guy that's like we get for the year. Like it's not like a Jay Ajayi type
No,
situation.
I mean, trade up. Let's get it. Let's do it. I'm in all day.
All day.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, it's like you said, if we're in win mode or win now mode, you have to, because
I agree.
you can't. I don't know. Maybe the D line and the edge rushers will, evolve into something serviceable, but serviceable. I mean, that's what we're hoping for here. When you could go out and get an elite edge guy that will completely change that room.
One of those guys for sure is elite edge guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I seen these swirling, and it was almost like, please God, let these rumors be true. And Howie, whatever you have to do, man. If this is true, whatever you got to do, get in there, get it done. That's our biggest glaring hole on this team right now.
And then maybe try to get rid of Slay. There, I said it. Try to get rid of Slay. Try to get something back. Try to get something back. He's all banged up now. All right, man. We left on a man. Yeah, we left on a
tangent there.
Great topic. Yeah, great topic. Well, guys, let's wrap it up.
Yep.
Let's wrap it up. We've been going at it. I think we feel good about it. Anything else that you guys want to touch on shortly?
No, I got go Birds, man.
Go
Birds, guys.
Trash these Giants. Trash the Giants.
The little
go.
Giants. Well,
Looking forward to a victory pod here.
Yeah, we'll see a post game for the victory pod. If in the
Yeah.
meantime, you guys want to send any emails over, speakingbirds@gmail.com, or you can call, hit up the voicemail, 215-469-1480. Guys, it's been a pleasure again, and we'll see you after the game.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yes.